Hello everybody and welcome back to the next episode in the Let's Play series. For those that didn't catch the last episode, why are you here? Go watch it. But you would have noticed at the end of the episode, I showed off the mausoleum. It has officially been completed, more or less. The basic shape is done. The basic building is done. There's still a lot of texturing I want to do. There's still a lot of details. I got more of these pillars I want to do. A sarcophagus, some stairways. There's more work to be done, especially surrounding it. However, as it stands, it's passable for now. I want to move on to other things, that way I'm not getting burned out on one project, working on it so much. Speaking of which, the next project mostly this video is going to be focusing on is doing some housekeeping, more or less housekeeping. If you haven't noticed, throughout this series, I haven't done a whole lot of finishing the game or going towards the end of the game, so to speak. I've been pretty slow at it. I built this massive thing before I ever went to the end or found a fortress. That's going to change. Obviously, I've gotten a wither last episode, so that made this easier. And it is only the 4th episode, but I feel like moving forward from this without an elytra, without shulker boxes, it's going to be difficult. So my goal for today's episode is exactly that. I'm going to go and I've already gotten the Eyes Vendor, which you'll see in a bit here. I'll show you, show myself collecting the ender pearls and whatnot. But I want to take these. I want to go find another fortress, kill the ender dragon, potentially get a shulker or an elytra, get some shulker boxes, maybe go to the nether to that bastion I found and get some netherite gear. I did find an ancient debris while I was off camera. I was mining for quartz, I think, and I managed to find just a random piece of ancient debris, but I need a lot more. Potentially, I'll also kill another wither, or there's plenty of stuff I can do. The reason that I want to get all this stuff done now, and I don't want to wait any longer, I could, yes, and I know a lot of people that do play the game without getting an elytra or shulkers or anything like that. However, I find it's a lot more convenient, and it makes doing large projects, which there's going to be a lot of large projects in this series, it makes them easier. Right, so this was a giant project. I would not be able to do it without a beacon. I would lose my mind. I probably could. Let me restate that. I probably could, but it would suck. From this point onwards, I don't really need an elytra, but for what my next main goal is going to be for building-wise, it's going to be very handy and almost a necessity. That goal is going to be making a storage room. So I've got my chest and stuff. I walked away. I shouldn't have walked away. I got my chest, my furnaces, all that, my enchanting setup. They're just sitting out, right? This is still early game. They're just sitting out right by my farms outside the big base. And I did mention in the last episode that I might move them into there. Plans have changed. Mostly because that was always going to be a temporary solution, and I honestly don't want to do a temporary solution to then change it again. So I'm just going to skip that, right? Skip the middleman, go straight to the end. Well, not the end, but what I mean by all this is I'm going to find a place to build the treasury. I'll explain what that means in a bit, but basically the treasury is where I'm going to be putting all my enchanting setup, all my items and storage and all that kind of stuff. Maybe making a super smelter, not certain yet, as well as some other odds and ends. But those are my main goals. I really want to get a storage room up and running. I want to get an elytra, shulkers, make my life easier when it comes to finishing this building, as well as the rest of the series plans. Speaking of which, I should get into what is going on in this series. I've been pretty in the dark of it up till now. For those that watch anime or read Japanese novels or manga, there is one series, my favorite, definitely my favorite anime Japanese series, but potentially one of my favorite fictional series, called Overlord. Amazing show. You might have already guessed I liked it based on my skin and based off of the mausoleum. But I'm going to be spending this series to, yes, I'm going to still be trying to be a better builder, trying to be a better redstoner, all these things that I've said in the first episode. But I also really want to build the Great Tomb of Nazarick, which is what we're looking at, right? This is the mausoleum, the surface level of the Great Tomb of Nazarick. After this, there are 10 layers, as well as some small side areas, of a guild base, a giant guild base called the Great Tomb of Nazarick. Now, before I go and explain what all these are, which I'm going to in this episode, I'm going to go time-lapse me collecting these ender pearls as well as some other stuff. That way you're not just listening to me ramble as I sit here and wander around the base. The Great Tomb of Nazarick is the guild base of Ions Ul Gon, the guild in which Momonga, the main character, is a part of. Now this guild base consists of 10 floors of interconnected regions, almost like different realms. Before we get into the first floor, though, we have to cover the surface. In the original game Yggdrasil, the Great Tomb of Nazarick was located in a swamp, with a mausoleum at its center, and many tombs and arches surrounding it. After being transported to the New World, the Great Tomb of Nazarick found itself inside of a flat plains, very different to the swamp that it originally was located in. This mausoleum serves as only an entrance to the Great Tomb of Nazarick, or at least the first 3 floors. However, like I had mentioned before, the 4 surrounding tombs on the surface contained copious amounts of gold and magical weapons. However, that is all that the surface really has to offer. There are other elements, but for the most part it is just the entrance to the Great Tomb. Now let's move on to the next 3 floors, the catacombs. The 3 floors of the catacombs are home to the floor guardian Sheltir Bloodfallen. These floors are long, twisted hallways and rooms filled with monstrous and terrible creatures, as well as numerous traps and tricks meant to dissuade any intruders or invaders. Should anyone survive and traverse through all 3 layers of the catacombs, the next floor that they would meet would be the 4th floor, the underground lake. Home of the floor guardian Gargantua, this underground lake is a vast and cavernous lake, but little is known about this floor, so we'll skip on to the next, the 5th floor, the glacier. Now the 5th layer, similar to that found in Dante's Inferno, is a frozen hell. It is home to the floor guardian Cocytus. As well, there are many other known locations on this floor, such as the frozen prisons and the room of Negretto, Albeto's sister. Traveling deeper into the Great Tomb of Nazarick will lead you to the 6th floor, the jungle. Now the floor guardians for this floor are Ora and Mare Bella Fiore, the twin dark elves. The 6th floor is one of the most documented floors in the tomb. Not only does it contain many outside biomes or other locations, it also contains one of the largest structures inside of the tomb, the amphitheater, which had been used for many different occasions, such as Ain's first testing his magic all the way to the invaders in the 3rd season. Beyond just the amphitheater, there are a few other major locations on the 6th floor, such as the gigantic tree, which is Ora and Mare's residence, as well as the green hole, the Trail of Fae, and the Field of Flowers. The next floor has one of the more boring names, however, quite an interesting place, and somewhere that I know exactly where I'm going to build it. The 7th floor is simply named Lava, or the Lava Floor. This floor, being guarded by Demiurge, has only really 2 well-known locations. The first is a simple river of lava, and the second is the Blazing Temple, which is not only Demiurge's residence and guarded by the 7 evil lords, but is also contains the entrance to the 8th floor. Trekking through the Blazing Temple and into the 8th floor, you will find yourself within the wilderness. The floor guarded by Victim, a floor guardian we don't see too much in the show and has a very odd appearance. However, this floor has some very well-known locations and very important locations. Sephiroth, which is Victim's residence, as well as the Cherry Blossom Sanctuary, Aura Omega's residence, and one of the more important locations, which is not a standard floor. This floor was hailed as Nazarick's final line of defense, guarded by some of the most powerful NPCs and containing at least one world item. Now, if you had found yourself in the 8th floor and did not meet your end, the next trouble you would face, and arguably one of the most difficult tasks you'd face, was discovering the path to the 9th floor, which really was more of an escape than a journey. However, if you succeeded in such, reaching the 9th floor, you would find yourself inside of the Royal Suite. This is one of the most populated and busy floors in the tomb, containing many rooms, shops, restaurants, services, really anything that the NPCs would need or want. Now, there are way too many locations to go over. However, I will point out a few important ones, or ones that I'd like to create in my world. The first is the round table room, which you see in the beginning of the show, the bar, which we've seen Shelter at, a courthouse for all of the NPCs and potentially the members of the guild, a guest room for anyone that's visiting who is not a part of the Great Tomb, as well as many of the guild members or NPCs' residence or rooms. The Royal Suite, being so important to many of the NPCs' daily lives, as well as the previous members, leads directly in to the final floor of the tomb, the throne room. But before we continue this explanation on the Great Tomb of Nazarick, and, well, more specifically the throne room itself, let's take a little bit of a break. Let's go distract ourselves with something else. This is a bit of a heavy conversation to have and heavy explanation, so let's go kill the Ender Dragon. That'll be a bit more fun. And maybe go get some elytra. And while I do that, I'll go over the throne room, as well as a few of the other areas, and give you a little bit of an idea of what the plan is moving forward. Is it right here? Oh, I got lucky there. Jesus. I should have brought a bed. I'm gonna go grab a bed real quick. Wow, that's a lot of creepers. What the heck? What is going on? Why are there so many creepers? Is that just a jungle thing? It might be a jungle thing. I don't really go in the jungle too often, so I don't know. And there you go. Bed is there. I'm not all there today. I left to go to bed. I came here, didn't have a bed. I left, go get one. Came back. I don't have the Eye of Enders. Why? Why did I do this to myself? Alright, whatever. See, this is just giving me even more reason to get an elytra, because this is a few hundred block trip every time. Is that a parrot? Oh, it's a parrot! I should be ready this time. If not, I'm going to lose my mind. Alrighty, it's time. We shall defeat this dragon. Whoa. Yep. Alright. Oh, perfect. We got Edstone. I can leave now, right? No. No, we've got a mission to do. Where is he at? Oh, look at that. Right on top of him. Alright, time to just scale one of these towers. Where's one with a cage? Scale that one over there, I think. Because that's beside two I need to kill. Far enough. There we go. There we go. This guy is really loud, and I don't know why. Okay, well, I scrolled too far. That's fine, that's why I have feather falling on my boots. Can you not, like, stand in my face? I'm not gonna be able to kill this guy if you just... Is he even within reach? Okay. Yeah, there we go. He's perching. Last shot. There we go. We've done it. We have beaten the Ender Dragon. Let's go. Whoa, everything is purple. Oh yeah, it starts the solar flares, doesn't it? Unfortunately, I don't have fireworks. I probably could have came here with fireworks. That'd have been intelligent. Also, I don't think I reset my spawn, so if I die, I'm gonna be spawning back home. I don't want to do this because I need to get fireworks so that I could. I mean, yeah, ideally I just get fireworks, jump into the portal. Whoa, I did not realize it was frozen when you zoomed in. Jump into the portal. Whoa, what? Are all the... Oh, wow, the portals are just a frozen texture. That's why they're so trippy. Huh. But yeah, so... I just don't know if I can afford many. Because either that or start building. Pick a direction. Oh, crap. Don't really want to die. I have plenty of gunpowder. Yeah, let's do that. I can always get... I have plenty of diamonds and all that stuff, so I can get my stuff back. It's just the levels are going to be a pain. Minecraft is complete. Specifically Java Edition. Heck yeah. Yeah, so that's why I thought I'm going to be back here. Alright, then, well, I will meet you when I get back there with some rockets. Why is there a skeleton on my roof? I gotta mob-proof that. But I will meet you back when I get some rockets and And I'm back in the end. The end. Whoa, that was close. Almost looked at him. Alright, we're back. Let's get right into this. Let's get through. I don't think I really want to build out just block by block to an island. I would much rather just go up to that. I don't know if there's another one. I'm scared. I'm scared to look because these guys suck. I don't want to accidentally look at a Enderman. So instead, I'm just gonna go over here. I'm gonna take one of these and one of these, and I'm gonna do this. I'm also gonna move this over here. Let's actually do that. I'm not having a good day. This is not a good time, man. I've almost fallen like twice getting here. Okay. Hopefully this platform will be enough to protect me from being stupid. Although knowing me, it is not. Because I'm going to accidentally look at one of the Endermen that are below, and I'm going to die. Okay. We've got all our stuff. Got an ender chest to get the fireworks when I get there. Got some bow, arrow, all the normal stuff. First things first. We build up back up to this so we can get back. Alright, how far is it up here? Probably should be good enough. I'm so glad I have a somewhat decent render distance. Last time I got to the end, I did not have very good computer, so the render distance was kind of crap. It's actually not even the computer, the server I was on was not very good. But now which way do I go? I like this direction. It looks like it looks somewhat promising. The only issue is that my building blocks are slabs so that there's more of them. Holy crap, does it make it harder to actually place on them. So we will be taking our time, holding shift the whole way, and hope that no Endermen walk in front of my eyes. Because if they do, I am dead. I don't know what that was. Okay. We've made it to the other island. That's a whole stack of slabs gone. Yikes. Okay. I probably should have gotten more building blocks than I did. But it's fine. It's fine. Trust me, it's fine. I should probably grab some of this one here. Because I might actually need it. It'll be helpful to get back down from the end cities if I don't find an elytra in them. Also, I didn't bring a... Crap. Oh. Darn. I need to figure out what my coordinates are in case I need them again. I think I'm back here. I'll just figure out where the coordinates of this bridge are, and then I'll know where I am from here. Alright. What is it? It is negative 1100, or negative 1100, negative 600. Close enough. If I get an elytra, that's where I'll be going back to. But for right now, we shall continue on. Don't know where I'm going. Just gonna keep wandering. Eventually, we'll find something. Hey, there's the first city. So I don't see a... doesn't look like there's going to be an elytra. But that's fine. We still need shulkers, so... City is still useful. Let's make our way over there. Slowly. Despite the name being the throne room, this 10th floor doesn't solely contain the throne hall. It also contains a few side areas that are not only vital to the survival of the guild, but also very important to the former guild members during the game's life. Now, the floor guardian of the throne room is not only one of the strongest floor guardians and most intelligent, but is actually the leader of the floor guardians themselves, Albedo. The first of these other rooms is the room of the Pleiades 6 stars. The Pleiades are a group of highly skilled and deadly battle maids, led by Sebastian, the head butler of the tomb. These 6 sisters were said to be the last line of defense before the throne room, giving enough time for the original members to prepare a final fight. But since moving to the New World, they have assumed a more traditional maid-like role, serving under Einzulgon as the head maids. Next, we have the Lemageton, which is a room of golems made to be a final welcome for intruders to the throne room. Next, we have the Ashurbanipal, which is essentially the main library of the Great Tomb. It is the residence of Chief Librarian Titus, as well as the home to many magic scrolls, as well as books and book-shaped items that Ainz has kept. And finally, the throne hall itself, which is not only Albedo's residence, but it contains 2 world items, one of which being Albedo's Ginen Gagap, which is the world item she carries on her person, and the other being mostly unknown. However, it is rumored to be the throne itself. Now with that, we come to an end with the individual floors. However, there is one more important area of the Great Tomb of Nazarick. The main one that I want to build next, because it will be my main storage area and the place I spend the most time. This place is none other than the Treasury. The Treasury is a place spatially isolated from the rest of the tomb. The only way to enter this area is with a ring of Einzulgon. On the other hand, the air in the Treasury is very toxic, and thus, anyone without a poison immunity or an item granting it will pass in just 3 steps. The Treasury's guardian is none other than Pandora's Actor, the NPC created by Einzulgon, or Momonga. The main 2 areas inside of the Treasury are the Chief's Manager Room, which is Pandora's residence, and the Mausoleum. Not only does this vault contain a lot of the world items that the guild possesses, but as the name suggests, it is also the final resting place for the previous guild members of Einzulgon. This part of the Treasury is guarded by 37 golems, named the Avatara. And if one were to enter the mausoleum with a ring of Einzulgon equipped, the avatars would attack said person. And these avatars were equipped with all of the previous members' legendary items, equipment, and weapons. This is the Great Tomb of Nazarick, a colossal guild base, home to the guild, Einzulgon. I do plan to create this entire guild in this new save. However, we'll see how much I actually get to. Now, if you can tell, this tomb is massive. I could not build one floor on top of each other without them being no more than 10 blocks, maybe 15 blocks tall. And on top of that, there are some clear hurdles when it comes to transitioning from one floor to the next. There are some easy ones, like the lava floor will likely be in the nether, but some other ones that aren't super easy. Currently, the plan is to put the throne room inside of the end. That way the royal suite can be before it. You can transfer, go into the portal, go right into the throne room, and then when you take the portal out of the throne room, you are in the treasury, which can be separate from everything else. Obviously, we have completed the basic structure of the surface mausoleum, and below that is going to be the catacombs. Apart from that, I'm not too sure where the 4th through 8th floor will be. But for right now, I think that's a good enough rundown of the guild and the plans for this series. Really? Okay. My aim is really bad. Holy. There we go. And just like that, we're back. Most of the stuff I got is in the ender chest, so let's head back to the base and we'll go over what we got. Let's take a look at what we got. So we got another chest piece with mending and unbreaking 3, nice. Got one with protection 4, unbreaking 3, thorns 2. Got just pant legs with mending, that's not too bad. Aqua Affinity Unbreaking 3, Aqua Affinity Respiration 2, Smite 4 Unbreaking 3, Fortune 3 pick. We got a second elytra. We got just over 2.5 stacks of shulkers. Shulker had 3 shulker heads, some chorus fruit, which I should plant. Also, I probably should get the flower at some point so I can actually plant them properly. Yeah, it's not too bad. And then obviously I got the dragon head. Alright, now that we've got all that out of the way, well, honestly, I think it might be the end of this episode here. We didn't get a whole lot done. We got wings, we got some shulkers, killed the ender dragon, which, I mean, fair enough, that is a decent amount of stuff, but didn't get much progress towards the base or building or anything. That'll have to wait till next episode. But with all the quite long descriptions on the tomb and the plans going forward, I'm going to continue working on this. Like, as you can see, I've been adding a few pillars here and there when I get time and trying to figure out where to put the treasury. But regardless, hopefully I can figure that out for next episode or whatever new project I get distracted with.